I'm used to Power Rangers not expanding on characters. Characters need a defined path, things to do to feel like people. Jason in MMPR does fall into this problem. He doesn't get much in the 2 seasons. This is the reason why I don't care for the character. But I'm not comparing him to actual bad character development like from Megaforce's Troy. These are 2 different problems. Jason is a good framework, it's just a lack of execution. Then when you combine this with him leaving in the middle of season 2, that just makes him worse. However, Jason was still very important to the show when they did use him. He was a leader, there's no doubt on that. I will also give credit to the writers when they did episodes showing some mishaps in judgment.
Day of the Dumpster.
The very first Power Rangers episode. This one I will always classify as a Jason episode. They're all thrown into some crazy nonsense. It's so stupid, everyone just leaves. I would too. Talking to some floating blue head, you're just not going to accept all this at once. But Jason did. He stopped for that moment and listened to Zordon. There's no benefit for someone to lie like this. Jason's judgment went beyond how he felt in the moment to maybe we should listen to him. Zordon wouldn't have picked the 5 Rangers if they didn't have the qualities needed, which is one of the good moments in the rebooted movie expanded on. If you have to take one scene from classic MMPR, this is the scene you do it on a bigger scale.
Green with Evil Part 2.
I had to pick this one. The episode opens the series to more ideas. We get introduced to the Dark Dimension. Tommy/Rita have no problem screwing with the Rangers in school. Goldar is also a bigger threat. They captured Jason so that they could torment him, not just simply get him out of the way. Goldar wanted to pay him back from all the times he lost. Taking his morpher, separating him from the team, they can't fight Tommy without him. Jason pushes through this nonsense. He's able to fight Goldar one-on-one without morphing, plays the game right back at him, and accepts what he's up against.
King for a Day Part 2.
I know this was a Tommy episode and even an entire team episode, but for Jason, this was a payoff from what happened over 2 years ago, where he messed up in losing Tommy's Green Ranger powers. This time, Jason got him free. This was now Tommy on the line and turning evil again. If they lost, he would have been the one who wiped out the planet, ruining the name of Power Rangers. They all went into the sealed dome, Jason never losing a beat. Gasket could have easily killed them without their suits on, but Jason and eventually the others risked it all to free their friend. That's friendship. This showed that Jason grew to be an even better person than he was.
Bomber in the Summer.
What was the one thing that Jason didn't really have? Zack had a girlfriend, Billy had a girlfriend and other potential interests, Kim had Tommy and the French guy, Trini had something with Richie, Tommy had Kim and the potential with Kat. Who did Jason have? That was one area we never saw. So enters Emily and Zio. I was happy. We got introduced to Louie Kaboom and a new character. Jason gets something to do. Even though him coming back and saving everyone's butt was cool, he started falling back into doing nothing much. It also brought in Ernie's new outside juice bar. Jason got expanded on, he gets to be alone and takes a break from saving the world. It gives you that breathing room and it's slowly built up in later episodes.
The Green Candle Part 2.
Now, on the flip side from Day of the Dumpster, this episode showed that Jason isn't perfect. For the most part, Jason's been a fine leader. He's always gotten out of binds. He knew how to rally the team, uses everyone's specialties, always encourages them, but here, he has no control over anything. The candle was burning down, the Rangers were being screwed by the monster, he's trapped in the Dark Dimension with Goldar. He doesn't fear Goldar, but that doesn't mean he isn't a threat. This is a no-win scenario. You go after the candle and waste your time with Goldar, the team gets killed. You don't go after the candle, the Green Ranger powers are eliminated. You do go after the green candle while running on fear and hatred, Jason and everyone gets killed. That's what Goldar wants. Either way, the bad guys were going to win. Thanks to Zack for snapping Jason out of it, they were able to get 2 out of the 3 things done. While Rita got Tommy removed from the team, the powers didn't get lost forever. People aren't perfect. We aren't at our best all the time. Showing Jason Falter raises the bar for him, Zack, and the show.
White Light Part 2.
I know why the show did this in real life, but because of that, nothing happened between Jason and Tommy. There was no episode where Jason got mad at Zordon, questioned this change, something. It's just, you are the new leader of the team. That's it. No one cared, no one gets a response, no one goes, oh my god, nothing. This is not how people act. Honestly, they didn't need this line from Zordon. I know the trio left the show, so they had to ride around everything. But it would have made more sense to announce Tommy as leader once Jason left. Rocky is new, Tommy is more experienced. That's all they needed to do. I never liked part 2 because of this.
Pressing engagement.
A pressing engagement is the most out of character Jason's gone. This of course happened because the writers didn't figure out how the character should be at this point. Normally I'd like to ignore this, but it just doesn't make sense. They set up Bulk and Skull as idiots, so how does Bulk have the record for lifting weights? If it was another guy who was bigger than Jason, I'd buy that. The plot also didn't really fit into the episode. Ernie gets distracted over Kim blowing a bubble, so Ernie screws up counting. This causes Jason to doubt himself. Jason's core character trait is to keep going. That was the reason why he believed in Zordon. Overall, it's a poor first focus episode for Jason, and who would ever buy that Bulk would have the bench press record in the juice bar?
The Rockstar.
Everyone knows this episode. This was just one of those that they shouldn't have adapted. It was cool that we got to see a family member of Jason's, but Jeremy didn't work at all. First, he was dubbed over, so it just made the acting feel worse. Then you had the problem with Jeremy being more focused on than Jason. Next, he was tied down by rocks. Now, normally I don't complain about the low budget or the cheesy effects, but this? The rocks were clearly fake. Then you had the Rockstar at this weird water resort that comes out of nowhere. Plus, I don't know what happened with the writer. Most of the time, they come up with reasons why X character isn't used. They aren't all good, like Tommy being tied to a tree, but Billy randomly walking off was crap. Then they go have him in the morph sequence, which makes no sense. The resort footage should have just been dropped. That barely had any decent material they could use in the first place. Poorly edited, bad use of Jason and Billy, Babu and Squat, I don't know what they were doing. You see Don from Jew Ranger in plain view falling down, and then Billy comes back out of nowhere. I only like the Bulk and Skull pizza bit. They could have done a better job with Jason if they used a different Jew Ranger episode.
Why Zeo?
I don't have a problem that Jason was a temporary Gold Ranger. Him losing his powers is just like Tommy, so they get to share that experience. You can come up with good stories, but I didn't care about Trey. If you're gonna have two characters use Ranger powers, I gotta care about both of them. If Trey was set up earlier in the season, kind of like the Phantom Ranger, where he helped out, we got to know him, then lost his powers and gave it to Jason, this would have worked. But you have Jason basically not be a part of the finale. Trey gets his powers back, they stop Mondo, but Jason's like, hooray, we won! Now I'm gonna disappear for no good reason just because we're going to Car Ranger footage. There was no satisfying wrap-up to Jason or even the Zeo season in general. It was just a bungled mess of missed opportunities for the finale.
Turbo, a Power Rangers movie.
I was totally unhappy with the season finale of Zeo. I'm gonna cry failure with the Turbo movie. There was no point for Jason and Kim to be in the film. All Jason does is go on a random backpack trip with Kim and they get brainwashed. He could have been used to wrap up some of the Zeo story, at least give him a reason why they didn't use the Zeo powers. Like say, to stabilize Jason completely, they drained all the Zeo crystals. I'd buy that, then just randomly stop using the Zeo powers. Even the scene of Kat morphing and falling into the lake would have made more sense. Then you could have expanded on that in Forever Red. Jason has Zeo powers within his body, he's able to restore the old power morph and Tommy Zeonizer. Done. Jason is a good standard square jaw leader. All he lacked was just more episodes featuring him. If you want to see stories that use the MMPR cast really good, pick up the main Boom comics. They do a lot more story-focused issues than the series. That's what the series needs now. It needs an overarching story for each of the Rangers. If they could do that, this series can work on multiple levels. What are your thoughts on Jason? Am I too harsh on him? What are your good and bad Jason episodes? And if you have a suggestion on a future topic you'd like me to do, leave a comment down below. I'm going to change topics. Next week, the bad seasons of Super Sentai.